So this week we've got a little couple of snippets of the self-build. I said that we probably wouldn't actually get them in, but we have got some little snippets of the self-build. And again, if you've not already seen that video, it's popping up there. I think Mark's singing again. We have got some tips. So
Like rain, that's mine.
yes. So tips, and we're going to get straight on because Friday's video was very sort of rushed. We hadn't got time. Today's still the same day as we're doing Friday and Sunday video, and we've still not got any time. But the weather is now sort of changing. Hopefully it's supposed to be getting warm, even though somebody's just said something about snow, which again we do get this time of year, don't we? So great time to go round now, clear up round all of our window rubbers. So sort of opening all of our windows. It might be that sort of if you went away over the Easter break, it was quite warm though, to be fair, wasn't it? So you might
come back into storage and said they had some lovely weather in Cornwall. They've just come back from being away.
We're getting there, aren't we? We're getting there, but it's still not perfect. But open all of your windows, go round, open all of your windows, and then a little bit of silicone spray on your cloth, or you can just spray the actual rubber itself, but ideally on a bit of a cloth. Go round all of your rubbers and just lubricate all of the window rubbers up. Now is the time to do it, because with this weather sort of changing, they'll have gone a little bit hard over the winter. As the sun starts to get onto them and what have you, it's going to change. So a good time, and again a good time then just to wipe around. Roof lights do the same, so open up our roof lights. If you can get onto a set of steps or something in here, and you can get to the little seals, sometimes they've got the little seals on there, and if they have, just a little bit of a lubrication as well. So lube that up. And then is our cassette toilet. So a very good time. What can sometimes happen is that if we've been away, we've filled up the toilet holding tanks, we've filled it all up with our water and our chemicals, we use it over sort of April, and then we don't either empty it through or we don't flush it all the way through, and then next time we come to it again, we get this problem of we've got the little black stuff in the tank and it's clogged up the pump, it's stopped the pump working. So if we can, over this next week, go and put some a little bit of water and 10% bleach, so however much water you put in, 10% bleach, fill your holding tank up on the flush water and flush that through, get it through to the cassette, give your cassette a good wipe through, and then empty it out, and then sort of just top it back up with normal clean water, no chemicals now at this point. We literally just want to fill it up with normal water. Then once we've flushed it through, flush it through a few more times, and that's going to stop our actual cassette flush from blocking up, causing problems a little bit later on in the season. We do it over the winter and we think, yeah, we've got away with it, it's all working, and we forget that normally between now and sort of May, it's a fair bit of a break if you're not going to use it till May. The other reason we've said about doing our windows is we're going to look at doing our cassette seal. So in the Haynes manual here, we've got a complete breakdown of the sort of toilet cassette, and this isn't the same on the slightly newer ones. I'm going to show you the slightly newer ones in a minute, how we sort of do the same thing. But what we're going to want to do is lubricate our seal up again, so you can do that through the toilet by opening the flap, spraying it in, and then close and open the flap quite a few times, and that will do our lubricate of our seal. Obviously if we flush the water through, we want to do that first and then lubricate the seal, otherwise with the bleach it's just going to rub and wash it all off. And then hopefully we know that if we used it over the Easter period, if we've got any leaks on that seal, and if we had got any leaks on the seal, the chances are we need to replace the actual lip seal. Now if you've got an older cassette, sort of up to about 2005-ish, this is the way to do it. So if you get a little bit of a screenshot of that, take a screenshot on your phone, hopefully you can zoom in, and then that will sort of show you how to do the older cassette toilet. But if you've got the newer one, it's going to look a little bit like this. Should we have a look at the lorry build and see what's going on with that? So starting to fabricate the connection for the hydraulic ram. So I've just got two pieces bolted together at the minute, which will end up going sort of, one will be this side, one will be this side, and then I've got a couple of centre sections as well that will also sort of double it up basically, so it'll be twice as thick. So I'm literally just trying to sort of I've literally just had a grinder disc in the middle, just to give me a sort of a shape, and then run it back sort of parallel with the actual ramp itself. So just trying to cut this out by hand now. So very rough shape now. So what we can start to do now is actually try and shape it properly, and that is pretty much the sort of final cut on it, I think. Hopefully now, when I test that out, that is going to be correct. I've got the other two pieces just to sort of put together, and they're going to go then inside. This will all be welded up, and then these will be welded to these plates, welded to that. So it should make quite a strong bracket then for the ram to actually sort of move the door up and down on. So the bracket is now complete. So I've doubled that up, I've welded it all up, I've ground it back down, and then our bracket underneath as well is correct now. So that's all fixed in, it's bolted, got some hopefully decent welds on there. So and then we've made a bit of a framework here to catch the material, so when we cover this back door, I've now put in basically just little edging so that we can go around this, and then this will have sort of a top cap on as well, just to make it look a little bit neater. So it's just now tidying it all up. I've readjusted the speed on the motor, so that is now working just a little bit slower, about right speed coming down. And then slightly slower going up. It's still quite thick, quite quick. So we need to put stops in the top frame so that it goes against the stops and doesn't go any further, and it doesn't have that jolting action, because obviously that jolting action is going to cause us issues if that is left for any longer. My welds are getting a little bit better. Using the MIG welding gun, I'm not using a spool gun, I'm literally just using straight out the MIG welding gun, and it plays up. It's a nightmare, I'm not going to lie, but I'm hopefully getting to grips a little bit better now with that aluminium welding. I think the back door should be pretty strong. Only time is going to tell, but that is just a bit of an update, and sort of hopefully I might get a snippet in for if I can crack on and get some coverings on this, get the internal boarding on. I need to weld in some stops now. I think that really needs to be my next job, but before I can do that I need to put on the inner surface so I know exactly where the inner stops will end up going, so that I know how thick this actual complete frame is going to be. So that I think is going to be the next job, and then I can, as I say, put those stops in and hopefully just calm that movement down a little bit more and make it a little bit more gentle and a bit more nice, and hopefully stop any of all that swaying around. I've got to fill the hydraulic tank up as well, so that'll make life a bit better as well once that hydraulic tank is filled, and everything's like a little bit, just to see how it all fits and works, and whether I've got to take it all back off again. But hopefully we're there. I think we've got it somewhere near. So if you've not been seeing the build, if you've not seen the first part of the self-build camper, that's popping up now. So on our actual lip seal, we can do the lubrication from out here. We can now literally just spray that, lubricate it all up. To get this flap off, so if you've got an issue with the actual seal and we need to replace this. On the old ones that you could literally undo the screws, but on the new ones this goes in. We have to sort of hold the toilet and then so we have got to turn it, so you can see the little arrow here. So the little arrow onto this dot to say that it's locked. Now the open section is here. So the problem with that is that doesn't always work, and it's really, really stiff. So what you can do, and you've got to be quite careful and delicate, is
what you're supposed to do.
That's the proper way to do it. The other way that you can do it though is by getting a bit of a bar in. Get in here. Sort of putting it across, and you've got to be really, really, really careful.
So you don't break those plastic bits.
Yeah, because they are delicate. And then that just gives you a little bit more leverage, and that's just an old tyre bar. That will then go round, and then we can remove that top section. But that's just an easier way to sort of manoeuvre it round, because if they've not manoeuvred round for a while, they're quite stiff and they're quite difficult to actually sort of manoeuvre around. So just putting a bar in if that sort of seems too tight. The other thing is putting a little bit of silicone spray around this edge and just letting it soak in there for a little while. But yeah, you can get a new of this top section. Like on this one, for instance, our parts inside have come apart. So again, if we just use our bar, twist that round, and that's just easier. So if you've got any damage, these can normally be put back together, and then your lip seal inside is literally just the 6 screws, 3 screws either side. This comes out and you can replace the actual lip seal, and that's what's going to then make the connection. And then if you've got any problems with the actual mechanism on the toilet, we should be able to then refit that and get it back working, in theory. So I don't want to touch it, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, that's broken.
Needs a new one.
Yeah, so that one is damaged, so it's just not sitting correctly. And then if that was the case that you've got an issue with your actual parts on the cassette section there, that's how you take it out and replace it. And when you buy new parts, it will actually come with the instructions sort of telling you to put your little piece in the end there and trying to turn it, but they are very, very stiff. And the reason that they're stiff is that this seal here, it just goes brittle, it just goes tough, it just doesn't want to work. So that'll just make life a bit easier.
So it's worth spraying that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, just makes
everything else
life easier than if you ever need to come to replace it or do anything to actually get it off. It's one of those that I suppose, unless you really need to do something on the toilet, do you really want to be touching it? But if you want to replace that top lip seal, you've got to remove that to get to your lip seal. You can buy just a complete new section, but a lip seal is far cheaper than that actual top section as well. So hopefully that has been handy. Again, a bit of a rushed video, just due to running out of time today with things going on. So hopefully next week normal service will sort of be resumed. We've not had much chance to do anything on the lorry build, have we? So hopefully we'll get a bit more done on the lorry build, so we'll have a bit more update on that. We'll probably put, as I say, a bit of a snippet somewhere within this video just to sort of keep us going, just a little bit of what's been going on so you can see. And then hopefully, yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark at the Caravan Place.